Yo, what is up, guys? So KingsIsle just dropped the newest spring test realm. We're seeing a lot of new gameplay updates that they are going to be releasing in a few weeks. But in this video, I'm just going to be quickly going over the notes and then some of the game-changing things for PvP specifically. So I'm just going to do a quick run-through of the actual notes themselves. If you want to find these notes, they are in the description of the video. So they added a Rate My Stitch game update. So all this really is, it's like a fashion show kind of thing. The only really notable thing here is another reward players may earn is a Stitch token reagent, which allows you to stitch your own piece of gear, for free. So it's like an equivalent of 100 crowns. This is kind of the only thing that's really serious about this. Anything else is just kind of for show. But this could be useful for players who are maybe free to play or low on crowns. You could use this. I know I change my stitches a lot, even though I just pay for it. But if this is something that you are interested in, that is a reward that will be available in that. As you can see more of the stitch contest on here. Looks like there's going to be a leaderboards, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all for that. They added a challenge mode, pretty basically hard mode, but there's only 3 dungeons that they're adding in this update. Basically, all this is it's going to be giving, as it says here, it's going to be giving unique cheats, advanced rules, or harder puzzles that are not seen in standard mode. We do not know yet if this is going to equate to better drops for the gear that drops in this, or spell elements or something like that, because it's only limited to 3 dungeons that don't really drop anything aside from Hall of Heroes. And as far as I know, the spell elements are not buffed, nothing like that. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see if they change that later on. But yeah, as of right now, pretty underwhelming because they only dropped it for 3 dungeons that don't really matter. But yeah, so that is all for hard mode. The team up kiosk specifically, there will be a little icon signifying which level of difficulty those dungeons are being played in. 2 new beast forms. Now, me myself, I do not really play Beast Moon seriously, but if these are really good, feel free to drop your opinions on them in the comments below. They're adding a new set of Decathlon and Beast Moon gear, kind of like how they had the fists and the spears, and then the normal Beast Moon robes, and then the woven robes. But now they're adding 2 more: the Cloven and the Draconian gear sets. Pretty cool. I like the wands. I do not really care for the robes and the other gear because it looks like merciless gear just reskinned. The boots and the hat are literally just merciless gear, just slightly reskinned. They dropped an update on the upcoming Beast Moon events. Pretty cool. And the new pets that are going to be dropping. Very excited. So they dropped a new gauntlet. Now, we have not really seen full into effect how the gear is going to affect PvP because you can't really go anywhere up from down, from where the gear is now. But it looks very cool. It looks like a swamp, kind of like how Unforgiven looks on the card art. There's 7 new glowing critter pets. Now, this is going to be Glowbug Squall, so kind of like the storm spell from the Malistaire dungeon in Darkmoor that you gain from that. This is going to be pets that look exactly like that for every school, I believe. It starts off at level 50, and this is going to be going live when Live Realm drops, which is will be available sometime after the update goes on into Live Realm. So maybe like a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after the official drop. This is just another advertisement for PvP Battle Pass, which we've had for the last year. And then they go over some spell changes. So I'm going to go into that. Spell elements added to Arc 1 quest. Very cool. Rank 1 spell elements added to spell elements quest. Pretty small. PvP tree gambits have been renamed and are now available to train by other schools. So what this means is now any school prior to this update, if you went to go train the tree, you had to have had the previous PvE scion to be able to train this. You could not train other schools, but now you can. So if you would like to go for a tree gambit on a different school, you can now do that, which is super cool. There is going to be a lot of very interesting strategies. Personally, I know that I will be looking at going into a death hitting life strategy where you can use threefold fever to counter not only every school to be able to use the Death Scion, but also be able to counter mirrors because you won't be able to heal if I'm spamming threefolds. That is something that I wanted to do a few months ago, and I'm very excited that now with the introduction of being able to train Scions on every school, that is going to be something that is possible. Very cool update. There was no downside to this. This should have dropped a year and a half ago or not even a year and a half ago when the original Rochambeau, a year and a half ago when the original Rochambeaus dropped and you could train them from other schools. This should have been a thing a long time ago. Very cool name. I kind of like that. But yeah, so that is the strategy that I'm going to be looking at. But I encourage you guys to log on and try to think of some more dual school strategies you can use using this update. But yeah, so Balance, Arc 1 spell element, Path B, and Gambits have been updated. So a lot of the Overtime and Shield Gambits have been updated, which I will be showing you. So it's mainly the 7 and 9 pip ones. So Jin for life is the same, but as you can see, Scion is now 7 pips. Because the Overtime Scions are 7, the Shield Scions are 11, and then all the other ones are no. Yeah, the Shield ones are 11, and then the other ones are 9. But very notably, they did change Myth and Death. They've changed Myth, Gen, and Death Oni, which I will be showing you when my game loads here. So as you can see, Myth Gen has been kind of plaguing PvP for a long time, but it is now 11 pips, but they raised the base damage, so now it does over 2,000 base. So if you let someone get this off with 11 pips, you are pretty fucked, which is funny because it's just way better than Scion, even though originally Scion was supposed to be the better spell. But we kind of went backwards here. But yeah, so over 2,000 base damage on Myth Gen. So it's really just buffed to where it's harder to obtain with 11 pips. But if you let someone get that off on you, especially because everyone has like 180 base damage and a 2,000 damage base spell, you are going to be so far behind that if you let that get off, you pretty much lose. Same with Death Oni. Death Oni, I believe, also got changed from what I saw. So yeah, it is now 11 pips as well. But again, 2,000 base, it is still not a drain, but super strong. Kind of ridiculous how high the base damage is on this. But yeah, that is all for that. Player versus player question not be completable. I didn't know this was an issue. Completing the tantrum fight will no longer get stuck in an animation. And then you are now able to hide PvP spectators. Now this really, only thing that this does is there's kind of an exploit right now where you can lag other people's games, which has been plaguing for probably about a year or so. And now being able to do this will stop that. It will not stop people from being able to watch your match. All it will stop is for people being able to show up on your screen. So it won't lag your game, stuff like that. You won't be able to see who's watching your match if you turn that mode on. They added a new claw regent, so now you're going to be able to craft the level 50 and the level 90 gear for Chrysalis and Dragonspire. Other than that, not really any huge things, just some quality life stuff that was going on. And then, yeah, that's really it for that. But there's another big update is they dropped the balance spell element change. So I'm going to be hopping on my balance real quick, and I'm going to be showing you a lot of the spells that were changed. Most notably, Hydra and Scorpion is what I've been seeing all over Twitter, which I will show you right now. So Scorpion got a change for the bottom path. So this is a beast move mechanic. Originally, this was a 3-pip spell that just stole a pip from your opponent, but now it is a swap. So for example, if I have a tower shield on myself and you are wide open and I use the spell, it is going to swap the tower shield onto you and then break it. So you can't just spam this spell. You have to use it very smart. So for example, in the situation, it's like a 2-pip steel ward that does damage if you use it correctly. So if I have nothing on me and you tower and I use this, it's going to swap the tower on me and then do a little bit of damage. Not much, but a little bit. And it does keep the 2-pip original utility. So this could be something that is useful in very low moderation for a balance. Nothing crazy, but we also saw a change to Hydra. So as you can see, the bottom path of Hydra is not the fire damage if they have a shield anymore. It is 3 minus 35 tower shields per shield that you have on your opponent. So I believe it breaks them and then it hits and then puts 3 tower shields on yourself as well, all at the same time. Damage is nothing crazy. It does, normal base damage without the extra conditional. So I don't really believe the spell is ever going to be used anymore because Jin's Defense, this is like a 6-pip Jin's Defense that does like 800 damage. Not really worth it. And you have, of course, Scales of Destiny still. This did not get changed from the last update. So obviously still incredible. Lore Master did not get changed. Spectral Blast did. So it now hits, and then every single blade that your opponent has will give you a 40% blade. Now this is insane. If you're playing someone who's blade stacking, this is really good. It's like a Jin's Larceny, but a little bit better because it also does good damage, and it's 5 pips. So a super strong spell for balance. Other than that, I believe that is all we saw. This did not change. Swap, yeah, it did not change. This did not change. Actually, this did change. They nerfed this. So originally it was 3 traps. Now it is only 2. I don't believe the spell is going to be carried anymore because it was only good because it was equivalent for a scales counter. But other than that, I believe that is all for the spell elements that got changed, unless Scarab got changed. Okay, Scarab is now the same mechanic, but is for a blade. This is also really good for balance, because balance doesn't really blade very much, except for the blade from Makaspiel if you get it half the time. But yeah, so that is all. If you guys want to dig deeper into this, I will have the link to download Test Realm in the description, as well as the link to the notes in the description. Log on, test it out, and if you guys have any bugs or something you encounter, feel free to drop them right here in the bug report. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys in the next one.